that one just
sucking
bummed
stories.
everybody out. But
Yeah,
yeah,
really did.
here's where we got
Now
two
we're all
articles
sad.
actually related to the title of tonight's episode.
Why
Starting
two?
off with, remember that story earlier, by the way, about the guy drinking blood vials and pee?
How could I
Yeah.
forget?
This is somewhat related, I guess.
It was so long ago.
Okay.
Florida hospital employee arrested for sucking elderly patient's toes. Records show.
Nice.
So a 23-year-old man who works as it says, quote, sitter.
Stop kink shaming.
These are you can kink shame when your kink involves non-consenting people. Okay.
Don't worry, I'm just
Elderly
kidding.
people have the grossest feet.
Maybe,
Also,
maybe that's what he gets off on.
Elderly people are probably also the most DTF, though. in
That's
this
they're
situation.
all old and
What do they have to lose?
definitely not their virginities. Am I right?
I
some
hope
of
not
them
to be
some
sad.
of them.
Anyway, a 23-year-old
Is this a
man who
convent?
works as a sitter for a Florida hospital is facing charges after getting caught
23.
getting caught sucking
Got
a sleeping
caught.
patient's toes.
Oh, they were sleeping? Oh, no.
There's no way that not a single person woke up when he was doing this, though. I'm just saying. Like,
They woke
somebody
up and they
was
were like,
down with this.
"Ooh."
Yeah, somebody
Maybe
was
he thought they
fine.
were dead.
The victim, a
That doesn't
patient,
make it better.
the victim, a patient at Gulf Coast Hospital located in Fort Myers, told the sheriff's office they woke up around 11 p.m. on Monday and felt someone touching their foot. According to records, the
Not
victim
all they were
initially thought
doing.
it was a nurse checking on them, but it happened 2 more times, records showed. So somebody did definitely notice.
Yeah.
They didn't report it till the 3rd time, it sounds like. The victim told
They
deputies...
were like,
Wait,
seriously,
wait.
please stop.
They
doing
woke
that.
This is enough
woke
now.
up and just assumed it was a nurse like sucking on their toes
the
or playing
victim
with their
told
feet.
the victim told deputies they felt something wet between their
no.
toes during the 3rd incident. When they looked over, the victim said they saw the man's name is France Belderin, and they saw Belderin on his knees next to their bed and bent over on their foot.
France or France?
I hate it. I hate it.
How
I
would you
hate
pronounce Frantz? Here, let me pull up a picture of him. Let me pull up a
Yeah,
picture of him so
good.
you don't have
With
to
a
lean
T?
over on Connor's
France.
computer. Look.
I was trying to find a picture of him.
Here.
Yeah,
Here's a
that's,
picture of
that's
him.
France.
I mean, doesn't look.
He doesn't look like a guy named France.
He
that's
doesn't
for
look
sure.
like particularly a creep either. He doesn't look
Listen.
like the kind of guy you'd be like, this guy's a toe
Yeah,
sucker.
but with that sheriff's department
This guy's
watermark
a
over his face, it doesn't do him any favors.
No, it
This
makes him
guy's
look
a
like a
fucking
criminal for
toe
sure.
sucker.
Yeah. But he doesn't look like. I mean, he
He
doesn't
looks
look like,
like-
a guy who would suck on
He
toes.
looks like a normal
He looks
person.
like a guy with more options than that.
Anyway, this victim went on to say they ripped their foot away from Belderin, and he went back on the chair he was previously sitting in. According to the records, Belderin is a sitter who watches patients throughout the night.
Did he just try to play it off?
So
Did
he
just try to,
literally
like-
does just sit there.
Yeah, he literally normally
But didn't he
sits
just
there.
like sit back in his chair and try to play it off like nothing just happened?
Yeah, right?
Like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well.
I was just sitting here. I'm the sitter, you know?
Why doesn't he move the chair to the foot of the
Why
bed?
is it elderly people toes?
This
they-
is why it's better to let your elderly relatives die than put them in a home with Franz the toe sucker.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going
Ah.
to shame people for what they got to do for their elderly parents, but yeah.
He should've just-
remember that
look.
if you ever do this, it could always happen. The next thing you know, little Mima going to be getting her toes sucked on by a stranger.
Look, here's
France.
the deal. That guy can suck on whoever's toes he wants, but he should have asked first.
I'm gonna call
Yes.
him France.
'Cause
Even elderly people's toes.
there's
Yeah, I'm
definitely
sure
some
some of
people
them
in
would
the
be
home
down.
who, yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, there's definitely people there who would be like, sure, whatever.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's part of it. Though.
Bring me
Maybe
an
he
extra Jell-O
likes-
cup.
Maybe
Yep.
he likes the creepy assault.
Maybe he
part
likes
of it.
the non-consenting
yeah,
part
exactly.
of it,
Yeah.
huh?
I hate all of it. I hate all of it. Can you imagine bunions?
That's part one. Don't
Oh,
worry.
yeah.
We got part two, I think.
Nails with
Part
like
two's gonna be
40
better.
years of lint stuck under them.
Fucking
And like
ugh.
fucking planner's
Bunions is a-
warts.
The
and-
Bunions is a good point, too.
grossest
I have a friend who
feet.
works in a retirement community, and like statistically, like it's one of the like biggest hotbeds for like not just like
STDs too.
STDs, but
Yeah.
also just like any kind of viral or skin to skin infection. Anything that one person gives to another person, there's a ton of it at nursing homes. Like
Yeah.
it's all over.
They're like
I
children.
hate it. I hate it.
It's
I
like a
hate it.
daycare. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I hate it. I don't want the next story.
He's probably got foot
Well,
and mouth disease.
the good thing you'll know about the next story is speaking of consenting sucking toes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dad slams school after leaflet tells teen to suck toes rather than have sex.
Oh, yeah.
What?
A father
weird.
has scolded his teenage daughter's school for quote promoting fetishes after she returned home with a leaflet
the
that's suggesting
fuck?
toe sucking as an alternative to sex.
What school is this?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No,
Carl-
I feel like that's something that they would have suggested.
It's
They won't just be like, listen,
Tildesley?
kids, just jack it.
Carl
just
Lawrence.
fucking masturbate.
Carl Lawrence from Tildesley said he was bewildered and shocked by the recommendations
Bewildered
in
is
this,
a good word for this. 'cause
by the
that's how I
recommendations
feel.
in the sexual health advice sheet that his 14-year-old Emma acquired from Shevington High School in Wingen.
Why are all the weird ones from Britain today?
This isn't this. I don't think this is
That's all of those words you said. Wingington in
Wingen.
everything sounded-
W-I-G-A-N.
Is it just me? Or did
Wingen.
all that sound very British?
I don't
did.
know where
No,
it's
it
at.
did.
The leaflet was titled 101 Ways to Show Someone You Love Them Without Having Sex. Suggested teenagers could suck toes, nibble
Look.
ears, or buy their partner's underwear.
What
Buy
the
them?
fuck?
These are
Wait,
all
wait,
way
wait, buy
kinkier than
'em.
just fucking.
Buy them new underwear, correct? Not like
Maybe
not
used.
like purchase their
Maybe
underwear
you-
from
Buy
them.
their used underwear.
You can buy them
Here,
used
Why,
Dan,
underwear.
if they're
Hang
trying
on.
to be like, don't
Did you
have
take
sex,
debit? Let
why?
me get your underwear.
Why are they having sexual things? Like,
I-
be like, listen,
I-
we can't have sex, but I can nibble on your ear for
It's-
a while.
it's-
Like,
Do
that's
all the stuff that
fucking
gets you rock
weird.
hard.
It's like a
Yeah.
it's like a sex ed it's like a sex ed thing, I think. You know,
But they still shouldn't be doing things that then get kids horny.
no,
'cause
no,
then they're gonna
I,
have
I
sex.
agree, but I
Let me
think they're
read you
saying
some of
I
these.
think what
Yeah,
they're trying
Chris,
to do is say
I just
if
pulled
you
up the leaflet.
if you really want to have sex, try these things before that to
yeah,
make sure you know.
suck toes.
Because I'd rather have them
Hold on,
sucking
guys.
toes
Guys,
than
hold
you
on.
know
We
Number
gotta-
getting
40
somebody
Here's the-
pregnant at 14.
This is the leaflet
have
on the
the
screen.
leaflet.
Number
Here. Chris
40,
has been
40
reading
is
it.
throw them a surprise party. If you're really horny, throw a surprise party.
One of them is parachute
Propose-
together.
One of them is proposed marriage. This is a 14-year-old girl.
Listen,
Okay. Now the sucking toes is weirder because it is out of
Is
place
this a
amongst
religious
a lot
school?
of other ones.
So between sucking toes is compliment them and make them feel special.
And
Also
hold their
number-
hand. Hold their hand is in between toe sucking and marriage.
Also, number 19 is make sure they are safe.
Buy them a piece of the moon.
Say I love you in 10 different languages. Run them a bath, but don't look at them naked, motherfucker.
Buy them a Kinder egg and hide a ring inside.
One of them is to
So
get a
they choke on it.
skywriter. They want you to hire a skywriter to write "I love you."
As a 14-year-old, spend
Go buy a skywriter.
$4,600 on a skywriter.
Go on a love boat.
Get their name temporarily tattooed on your body. I thought that was just tattooed. I misread that at first.
Share strawberries dipped
Look,
in chocolate. is the
Share
last
a
one.
gingerbread
Number
man.
7, they're
That's
promoting.
so specific.
Number 7 promotes sexting.
Send them a romantic text.
You
Name
know-
a star after them.
Yeah.
What happened? Were they like, we have to hit 101, and after like 80, they ran out of non-kinky fucked up shit
Wait,
to suggest?
number-
Where are the rest of these?
Why did they cover up a few of them with that? Scroll up. They covered up a few of them, like number 12.
Oh, yeah, I
looks like
can't
it
see
could
number
be good.
12 on there. So, see a romantic film together. I think that's what that
Oh,
says.
romantic.
Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
tick film together.
Coddle them when they feel upset, or it could say fuck them when they feel upset. I don't know.
Hold them.
Probably.
Cuddle them.
Probably. There's a lot of hold
Oh.
on here. Hold their hand.
Guys,
Drive 2
comfort-
hours just to see them.
Comfort them. What if they live? Presumably, they don't live 2
They
hours
live
away. You go to
15
the
minutes
same
away.
Look.
You're going to drive around for 2 hours and then go see them and be like, I was out for
Walk-
2 hours for you.
Walk
It
a
is-
1,000 miles to see their
That's
smile.
dangerous.
That's gonna get a kid
Hold on.
killed.
I
They're
will
gonna
walk
die.
500 miles. I will walk 500 more. Is that song from the 80s? So walking a
They're
1,000
telling
I would walk
14-year-olds
1,000. I think
to
that
walk
like.
1,000 miles.
Do you think kids
But
made
I
this at the
would.
school?
No, because kids were like, honker hooters. That's what kids were writing.
Okay.
Look, I just think that like at least this list is filled with reasonable things that actual 14-year-olds could do, like parachute together.
You know what it's not filled
Skywriting.
on? What actual
Skywriting.
14-year-olds do? Like fingering. You know what I mean? That should be number one instead of fucking fingering.
Look, number 9, kiss when people aren't looking. Go down to
What
the very
about when they
bottom.
are?
Scroll down. Scroll down.
Go down to
This
the very
list is
bottom.
great.
30
I
is
want
co-
to print
Oh, look
this
at
out.
51. Kiss when people are looking.
Hold on. So you have 30 is cuddle each other and fall asleep in front of a fire, something that you probably have zero opportunities to do as a
As a
14-year-old.
14-year-old.
Especially if you, and like nobody does that unless they just got done fucking in front of the fire.
Decorate the
Yeah.
14-year-old's house and all of their favorite things.
Take them on a surprise trip is one of them.
Yep.
So it's-
What?
I feel
the
like this
fuck
was
is this?
this was copy and pasted and randomized between like a bunch of Cosmo like
Write
posts
their
or
name
something.
with a sparkler.
Okay.
Share secrets.
talk.
This
talk
is
every
like
day.
anything from like, hey, if you're 5 years old and you like a girl, to like if you're 14, according to this.
Also
'Cause
40.
Imagine
Yeah.
me writing, yeah. Yeah, because take on vacation. That's
Send
true.
them flowers
But
at
also,
college
guys,
or work.
remember, suck their toes.
Yep.
Write
This is goddamn
write them a poem
hilarious.
using their name as the subject.
Where's the rest of them? There's supposed to be 101. Do we have the second
I
part?
do think I have the second part. Let me get rid of this.
Please,
Let me
please.
see
I
what
hope
else
you
I
do.
have.
This has
Oh
been great.
shit! Fuck, I don't.
I want to print this out and hang it up.
Anyway, so let me go on to read some more things that Carl said.
No wonder I'm
Carl.
divorced. I never did any of these things.
Carl said, "I understand that children need to be made aware of the world, but we really shouldn't be promoting Pardon me. I understand children need to be made aware of the world, but should we really be promoting fetishes in year 9? Which that makes me think is not in the U.S.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
Canada.
year 9.
Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
It's Canada or Britain, but
Right.
judging by the names of the
it
towns,
sounds like
it's got to be the
Britain.
UK.
Carl says, I don't think so.
Is anywhere on this list like dress up in latex suits? See if you're a furry.
The first
Put a
thing,
fart tube right into your own mouth.
the first thing that stood out to me was suck their toes. That's quite niche. There,
What a polite way of
Yeah.
saying that. This is definitely Britain.
there were some ideas that really shocked me, and I don't think they hit the target demographic. There's no way a 14-year-old should be reading this. When I spoke to my daughter, I said, this isn't the only way to do things. Surely they can enjoy each other's company, go for walks, go to watch a film, go to Burger King, go to the park. There's a ton of things that don't involve getting someone's big toe in your mouth.
I just love how polite about all this he is. He was just like, that's a pretty niche thing. I don't think we should share this with our children.
If my kid came home with this in year 9, I
Year
think
9?
I would be at the school, and I would be like, "Excuse me."
Listen, all Carl's
After
doing,
like highlighting it and sending it to us, I assume.
Oh,
because
I would
that's
send it to
hilarious
everybody
and
first.
Insane.
all Carl's doing,
I'm a media professional. I would go to the media first and ham that shit up. Be
Carl's
like, my
just
kid get A's now.
all that Carl's doing is urging the educators to proofread these things before they send them out.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like that,
Urging
that
them to
missed,
do their base level job.
I'm
that missed the
kinda-
demographic.
I think
by
they
a
just
lot.
photocopied
Yeah.
a magazine.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I think that it was. I'm wondering if this.
Well, yeah, I
if-
have like a cover.
If
or
there is
something I'll
some kind
pull
of
up.
student input involved, and like, because we all know how yearbook works. It's
Yeah.
like you try and slide.
Yeah.
It's not a student thing. It's not a student thing. This is like a pre-made flyer that they gave out. This is either like the front cover or the back cover or something like that. 101 ways to say I love you, your sexual rights and CEOP, sex and the law, the route to sex, drugs and alcohol, and lastly, how to use a condom.
Why is drugs and alcohol in between all the sex stuff, and at the very end they're like,
Because they're like, do you
condom.
really want to get laid?
No, it's
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
it's how you get to sex. You have to do all of those things.
You have to
Ah,
find 101
makes
ways to
sense.
say I
Yeah.
love you. Then you got to know your sexual rights and
Yeah.
CEOP, which I
Uh-huh.
don't know
I
what
don't know
that
what
is.
that is.
What is CEOP?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Contraceptive, expletive, oral pussy.
Oh, child exploitation and online protection.
Oh, I shouldn't have made that joke.
Nope.
No, it's a protection agency.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Why is that in this for kids?
UK.
Because you're a kid.
Because it's
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah.
They're all clicking on stuff online.
a good point.
You're a
Cam
kid that
soda.
can hire a skywriter and go
you down with
skydiving.
CEOP? Yeah, you know me.
So this is by Spectrum's Relations, Spectrum Community Health CIC,
All right.
Being
and they're the ones that put
Midwesterners.
this out, and
They're
they actually
missing the fucking
they
mark.
went on to defend it.
Oh no.
And the spokesperson for the company said Spectrum's relationships and Spectrum's relationship and sex education program provides information and support to young people throughout their high school journey, helping them to make safer choices. From year 9 onwards, we also introduced our RSE magazine, which is adapted every year in response to feedback from young people, parents, and schools. So they're saying that this leaflet that they handed
it's
out
totally
is
fine.
like inspired by kids. Like,
Okay.
you know what I think though? You know how like we got boats that people want to name Bodie McBoatface? Kids are like, they're like, write us in what you kids do instead of sex, and kids are like,
Yeah.
suck
toes.
suck toes.
Look, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No.
I just
These
think
people are in high school.
I think it's hilariously
All right.
off
But,
the mark.
Connor,
though, with
can I ask
those
you a personal
suggestions.
question?
yeah.
Did you ever suck anybody's toe in high school?
No,
No.
Here's
No.
here's what
But,
I'm gonna.
but I'm saying if you're into that, sure, go for it. It's better than somebody getting pregnant at that age.
Fair enough, but as I'm even saying this as a parent, I'm like, if I found out my kid was having like premarital sex at an appropriate age, I'd be like, Oh man, be real careful about that
Yeah.
shit. Choose your partner as well. If I found out there was toe sucking, I'd be like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?
Where did you learn about this?
You're not old enough to be getting weird and kinky
You're
about
kink
shit yet."
shaming, man.
Yeah, you don't kink
When
shame,
you're
Chris.
15, normal sex should be kinky enough. You
Yeah.
shouldn't-
It's all new.
You should
Kids
already be
are
on to being
freaks
like,
now.
how can I weird this shit out? Like,
I don't think it's like
Pop it in my mouth.
horrific or
get my
anything.
wiener one.
No, yeah.
I just think that's a hilarious list.
Yeah.
for,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
14-year-olds.
No,
like that's way off mark.
That's a great list
I
for
think that-
14-year-olds.
Walk 1,000 miles.
I think that sucking
Go.
toes fits more than some other things. On
yeah,
that list.
for
True.
real.
I
Walk
still
1,000
think-
miles too. Back to that though.
That's
That's got to be just
dangerous.
purely metaphorical, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Nope.
that's why I think some of these things might be jokes, is because there's that song from the 80s that says.
But why would a company? I don't know.
Because
Listen,
A
they're
company
hip.
that's supposed to.
Dan,
Because
they
a bunch
are
of
hip.
underpaid freelance weirdos are writing this shit in their
Yeah,
spare time
that's fair.
while drinking.
That's
the
fair.
company's hip.
I-
The younger generation
I
understands.
still maintain that when you're in high school, you should not have progressed to toe sucking yet.
No, I agree.
that's a
You should
quick
be
jump.
satisfied enough with normal
You
sexual
shouldn't
activity.
even, like you shouldn't even be up to anal till
Finger
like your
sucking?
senior year or anything.
Unless you're saving it for
Like,
Jesus.
finger sucking's a little different.
Senior year, maybe you're popping a thumb in somebody's mouth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
in somebody's
yeah.
butt. But
Big
You
toe
know.
is like that's a college, that's a master's,
Yeah.
that's a master's degree.
that's something you do. Yeah.
You know, that's later. That's after like you've.
I
had
will
enough
say I'm
sex
comfortable
that it-
saying this. I've never sexually sucked on somebody's toe.
No, I don't want
No,
to.
feet
say
are
that.
no.
feet are fucking
Fucking
I
gross.
don't like
Oh.
feet
Yeah.
personally. Not a
Nope.
big fan.
I don't even. I'll be
either.
here revealing too much of myself. I don't even like the finger stuff because I'm like, I listen. My hands.
Oh, I think you said two finger stuff.
No. Like
Why'd you say stuff?
if like somebody sucks on my thumb, I'm like, don't do that. I touch stuff all day long.
Okay.
I'm like,
I mean,
I'm
that's
like out
fair.
there in
Just
public.
wash your hands and then do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, then do it. Why? Make sure you watch.
But
they
it's
watch
one of
you.
those things where I want to be like, look, I don't need that. I know you saw it on
Yeah.
TV, but I don't need
No
that.
one likes
like,
that.
TV?
Really.
Like, listen, I don't ejaculate from my thumb. That doesn't nothing
does
for
nothing
me.
for
I don't,
me.
I don't
Maybe they think it's
enjoy
like
it.
Scary Movie 3. I don't know.
No, I think the toes and finger thing. I think it's those things that like people see it,
And porn, yeah.
And then they
yeah,
think
like
that,
this
like-
is what people are into.
yeah, and it's an
Yeah.
example of like these days. There's lots of stuff that people do just because they think that's what people do.
like
Yeah.
choking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, some people are definitely into these things, but not. It's not just what you do to
yeah,
somebody.
it's not like a default like
Yeah.
you know.
like penetrative sex is pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
But like everything else you do, you need to like probably check a lot of that shit. You know what
You
I
need
mean?
to ask what's
Yeah. Don't just
Fill
go.
out some surveys.
Don't just go sticking your fingers and toes in places they don't
Listen,
belong.
yeah.
Listen, a
In
lady
people's
puts my
mouths.
thumb in her mouth. I'm not like, oh, I hate you now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, look, I don't
Why
need
are
it.
you doing
And I
this?
feel
Stay
like
the fuck
I feel
away
like
from me.
neither of us are getting anything out of this.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's just skip this
Well,
part.
she's getting some of that sweet, sweet salt off your thumb. So
I do eat a lot of pretzels.
Ooh, is she a deer?